Children, today we have very interesting lesson titled Tom Paints the Fence. This is written by Mark Twain. Now, Mark Twain was born in 1835 and died in 1910. It was the pen name of the American novelist Samuel L. Clemens. He is one of the best loved American novelists of all the time. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, on which this play is based, and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn are his most popular works. Now, the main characters in this story are Tom, a 10-year-old boy, Jim, a servant at Aunt Polly's house, Ben and Joe, friends of Tom, and Aunt Polly. Aunt Polly is Tom's aunt. So, Tom Sawyer is a mischievous boy who lives with his aunt and his half-brother. His half-brother's name is Sid. So here Sid will be Tom's cousin brother. He misses school and dirties his clothes in a fight. As punishment, his aunt makes him whitewash the fence. Let's read and find out whether he whitewashed the fence himself or not. So here we go. Tom paints the fence. The pavement outside the fence of a house. It is morning, and a few boys go by, laughing, shouting, playing tag. Two more boys play leapfrog across the pavement. Tom enters through the gate. He carries a large bucket of whitewash and a broad brush. He sets the bucket down and mournfully looks at the long length of the fence. Sighing, he dips his brush and passes it along a section of the topmost plank. He steps back and surveys the insignificant white streak, comparing it to the far-reaching continent of unpainted wood. He sits down, sadly, on an upturned barrel. Jim comes through the gate, holding an empty pail. So here the scene is the pavement, means the area outside the fence of a house. This is Tom's auntie's house. It is morning and a few boys go by laughing, shouting and playing tag. So playing tag. Tag is a game in which two or more players chase each other in an attempt to tag and mark them out of play. Means they will chase others and then they try to catch, and the one who is caught will be out. That is, so some boys were around there, they were playing, some were laughing, so they were passing that way. Two more boys play leapfrog across the pavement. This is a scene, no? This in front of Tom's auntie's house. Tom is in his auntie's house only. So some outside some boys were playing and shouting, and they were enjoying, and they were passing that way. Now Tom enters through the gate. He carries a large bucket of whitewash and broad brush. So it was a Saturday and the school was closed. As Tom was very naughty, so his aunt had given him the work to whitewash the fence outside. So that is why when other children were playing and enjoying and celebrating their holiday, Tom had to work. So he was given the work to whitewash. That's the reason why he is carrying a large bucket of whitewash, means paint, no? And a broad brush in his hand, and he is coming outside of his house. He sets the bucket down and mournfully meaning with a sad face, okay, sadly looks at the long length of the fence. So when he came out, he is a lazy boy. He did not like to do any work. He always used to go playing with his friends, catching fish, this, that. So here he had no option, could not escape. So his aunt had commanded him to do the whitewashing, so he came out unwillingly to whitewash the fence. So after keeping the bucket down, he was just observing the length of the wall, and he felt very sad. Sighing, he dips his brush and passes it along the section of the topmost plank. So what he did, with a sigh, with a deep breath, he put his brush in the bucket and then he made a long line on the plank. This is a wooden fence. He steps back and surveys the insignificant white streak. So after putting making a long line, after painting a bit, he stepped backward and he was observing how he painted. Streak means line. He sits down sadly, comparing it to the far-reaching continent of an unpainted wood. So the fence was a very long one, so he had only made one streak. Now after making one streak, he sat and he was just observing the length of the fence, how big area he had to paint. Then he sits down sadly on an upturned barrel. So there was a very big container which they used for storing grains and all. So it was upturned, and there on that barrel he sat. Jim comes to the gate holding an empty tail. So Jim here is a servant boy there. So he comes inside with an empty pail. Pail means pot in his hand. He is going to carry water. Let's continue. Tom asked Jim, "Where are you going to, Jim?" Jim answered, "The pump to fetch water." Tom, "Say, Jim, I'll fetch the water if you will whitewash some." So here, when Tom saw Jim coming with a pot in his hand to collect water. Fetch means to carry water or to get water. Tom asked him to take the brush from his hand and whitewash the fence. Means asked him to help him to whitewash the fence. Now what did Jim say? Jim said, he shook his head and takes a step back. First he shook his head, which means he said no. Because he is a servant boy there, he knew that if he helped Tom in whitewashing, his mistress would punish him. So he said, "Can't do it, Master Tom. Miss Polly," so that is Tom's aunt, her name is Polly. So Miss Polly, she expects you will ask me to whitewash, and she told me to go along and mind my own business. So when he had come out with this pot in his hand, already his mistress, which means Tom's aunt, her name is Polly, she had warned Jim not to help Tom because she knew that Tom would be asking Jim's help. So he had already told him to mind his business. Tom produces a marble from his pocket and shows it to Jim as if to bribe him. Jim examines the marble. So in order to make him whitewash the fence, he had plenty of collections, this kind of marbles and whatnot things, knives and whatnot things he had in his pocket. So he took out one beautiful shining marble and he showed it to Jim. Jim took it in his hand and he examined it. Jim said, "That's a mighty gay marble, I tell you." So he said that it was a very beautiful marble. Tom, "And for you, if you will just do a little whitewashing while So Tom said that marble he would give him if he helped him in whitewashing the fence a bit. Jim said, "But Master Tom, I am mighty afraid Miss Polly." "Polly will." Tom, "She won't ever know." So again Jim refused, telling that Aunt Polly will be angry if he helped him to whitewash the fence. Jim, "I would like to help you, Master Tom, you know that, but..." So again Jim was refusing to help him. Actually he was willing, but he was terribly afraid of his mistress, so he refused. Tom said, "Jim, I'll show you my sore toe." Sore toe means his toe was wounded. So he said that his leg was paining, there was a sore on his toe, so he could not do the work. Jim, "Sure enough." Which means he said that if Aunt Polly comes out to scold Jim while helping, Tom would show her his sore toe and she would let Jim whitewash the fence. Then Jim wanted to know whether surely he would show or not. Then he asked, "Sure enough?" Tom said, "Sure enough." After a second's hesitation, Jim sets down his pail. So at first he was actually not willing. Finally, when Tom persisted, he begged, so to say. So he actually agreed, and so he sets down his pail, means the pot which he was carrying to bring water. He put it down. He collects the marble from Tom and bends over the sore toe. Okay, so first he took the marble from him and he was observing the sore toe of Tom. His eyes wide with interest as Tom begins to unwind the bandage. So Tom had tied his toe with a bandage. He was opening it. So Jim had bent over to see the sore toe, to see how it had happened or what was there. Aunt Polly's arm, clutching a slipper, descends, giving Jim a beating. So while he was bending to see the sore toe of Tom, what happened in the meantime? Aunt Polly, it was Jim's mistress, she came out with a chapel or slipper in her hand, and then she gave a nice beating to Jim. Jim grabs his pail with a startled shriek and exits quickly, while Tom leaps to the fence and begins whitewashing energetically. So when Jim was beaten by Aunt Polly, he immediately took his pail, that bucket of whatever it is, and then he gave a very startled shriek. Shriek means cry. He cried loudly because he got pain, and then he ran away. In the meantime, Tom got up and then he moved towards the fence and began whitewashing with lots of energy and enthusiasm. Aunt Polly leaves. In the distance is heard the long-drawn blast of the big Missouri whistle. Tom's eyes widen and he looks longingly in the direction of the sound. The whistle is repeated. So Tom started whitewashing again and Aunt Polly went inside her house. After some time, Tom could hear somebody's whistling sound. Big Missouri is one of the largest steamboats that sailed on the Mississippi River. So this was it was the sound of a steamboat whistling. Tom's eyes widen and he looks longingly in the direction of the sound. The whistle is repeated. Ben Rogers, a stout young man of Tom's age, approaches. He is eating an apple and imitating the sounds and movements of a steamboat as he walks along the pavement. So as I told you in the beginning, someone was whistling. No? It was the sound of a of the steamboat. Okay, such sound he was making. I told you it was a holy day and children were enjoying Saturday. So Ben Rogers is Tom's friend. He was a stout young boy, almost Tom's age. He enters. He approached Tom. He was eating an apple and imitating the sound of the movement of steamboat as he walked along the pavement. Now he saw Tom whitewashing the fence. Ben, stop her. Sir. Ting-a-ling, ship up to back. Ting-a-ling-ling, set her back on the starboard. Ting-a-ling-ling, chow, chow, oh. So he was actually, I told you, imitating the sound of a steamboat. So here she or her is actually the steamboat. So when Ben Rogers reached near Tom, he actually stopped there and then he wanted to get the attention of Tom. He wanted to talk to Tom. Tom looks down at Ben. Then he looks at his brush and from there to the fence. An idea seems to be forming in his mind. Quickly, he dips the brush and turns to the unpainted boards, starting to work determinedly. So when Tom saw Ben standing near him, he got an idea. Okay, he started to whitewash the fence very quickly to show that the whitewashing work was very interesting. So actually he did it with a lot of enthusiasm and lot of interest so that he could attract his friends' attention, and when they get attracted he could make them do the work. That was his plan. Now Ben, Come out with your spring line. What are you about there? Take a turn round that stump with the bright of it. Stand by the stage, now let her go. Done with the engines, sir. Ting-a-ling, ling. He catches sight of Tom. Hi. So here, Ben was trying to stop the steamboat. So he said all those things like what come out with your spring line. Spring line is a thick rope that is laid from a ship's front to its end and attached to a fixed point to tie the ship. So he says, what are you about there? Take a turn round that stump and with the bright of it. Bright means here it is a curve along the course of a river. Stand by the stage, now let her go. All those things he was telling. Actually, he was busy in imitating the sound as well as what they call tying the ship. That steamboat with a rope. Then he saw Tom. Then he said hi. Tom doesn't hear. He surveys his last touch with the eye of an artist, then gives his brush another gentle sweep and surveys the result. Ben Ben ranges up alongside of him, chewing on his apple. So he was already eating an apple. So when he called Tom, Tom did not pay any attention. He went on washing with the went on washing the fence, whitewashing the fence with his brush, giving lot of interest in order to show that he was very much interested in that. Since he did not pay any attention, Ben went near him and still he was chewing an apple. Then he asked him, "Hey, you got to work. Hey," means